Ravens. We talked about it with Lamar Jackson. If they cannot run downhill the entire game and stomp people out in that way, they are going to struggle to win games offensively. That's the bottom line. Like, we look on the outside, Brown, Snead. Who's the only guy that bothers you from a personnel standpoint outside of Lamar Jackson? Andrews, the tight end, and you telling me that that's how you're going to go and win a Super Bowl against the teams that you have to play? The indictment has never been just about Lamar Jackson and his ability to throw and all of that. We know Lamar Jackson can do that. This team has not evolved to win another way when they can't dominate on the ground. I'm not going to stop saying it. And in order to win a Super Bowl out of the AFC, you are going to have to go toe-to-toe throwing the ball at some point. That's the Baltimore Ravens' issue. Yeah. That is where they're living right now in this division.
Greg, why are you shaking your head?
Because he's talking about the evolution, but the players are not letting them evolve. Like, you can talk all you want. A great quarterback elevates the play of everyone around him. And we look at Lamar Jackson. The guy can't throw it down the field. He can't be accurate on throws that travel more than 15 yards downfield. Do you realize that Lamar Jackson is 26th of 32 in the league right now on throws, completion percentage that travels more than 15 yards downfield? Like, you talk about the evolution. Oh, we got to evolve. But Spears, they are hamstrung by the inconsistency of their quarterback. Like, that's all it is. And we can talk about the weapons and the offensive line and the attrition, all this stuff. Until he takes the next step as a passer, I, as a defensive coordinator, am not going to respect the downfield throw. Not going to do it. And until he proves that he can hit the curveball, I'm going to keep throwing it no matter what.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Has he digressed then since last year? Because last year he was one of the better deep ball throwers. So now he can't do it. Or is it that teams have adjusted and you don't have weapons to get open like they did last year? I always bring this point up right quick. When we saw the San Francisco 49ers with Greg Roman go to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick as quarterback, you know who his receivers were? It was Michael Crabtree and Anquan Bolden. Michael Crabtree and Anquan Bolden with the Baltimore Ravens would put them in a conversation for a Super Bowl. They do not have that. They have not evolved personnel-wise or scheme-wise to be in the running for a Super Bowl from a passing game. Point blank, period.
Yeah, let me go back to where it all began, which was with Jeff Saturday. I'll ask you the same question I asked Marcus. When you put together a list of teams you could see coming out of the AFC in the Super Bowl, are the Ravens one of them?
No, and I'm disappointed to say, and I do not think it's Lamar Jackson's issue. I hear what Greg is saying, but I completely he was 24 of 34 against the Patriots in a complete rainstorm and a wash. He's got a center that put the ball on the ground 3 times, right? They went on a 4th and 1. He snaps it down. They lose Ronnie Stanley, so now they move Brown over. They can't physically dominate at the point of attack. All of those things bring up issues, and I agree 100% with Swagoo. Listen, on the first play of the game, when I watched their receiver get pushed out of bounds, it causes me concern because at some point, when you look at Kyler Murray and what's happening in Arizona, we're talking about Fitzgerald is there 2, Hopkins is there 1, Kirk is there as well. Like, he has guys to help him. The eye guy makes him go. They need some eye guys on the Ravens offense. They don't have that. I think Lamar can get it done. Right now, I don't see the other. That's why I went to panic.
Well, I'm very glad you just mentioned Kyler Murray because he was where we were going next. Because as we look at young quarterbacks around the National Football League, and some of them are developed and some of them are ruined, look how well Arizona has done this around him. The first thing they did was when they knew they were going to draft him, they hired Cliff Kingsbury a little more than 6 weeks after he was fired from Texas Tech. No one could believe it. But because he runs an offense that is perfect for this young man. Kyler Murray, they take him #1 overall in his new position with the Cardinals. Not only could he, but he did take over. And then this offseason, they put the cherry on top. They go out and they get him maybe the best receiver in the entire NFL, trading for DeAndre Hopkins, who, of course, made the extraordinary catch over the weekend, but has made a lot of other plays. And so, Greg, I mean, this is a conversation that we have all the time. It is my fervent belief that more young quarterbacks are ruined in the NFL than developed. And if you look at the success of the Cardinals right now, yes, Murray is terrific, but it is an organizational success because they put him in a position to succeed.
You cannot play quarterback by yourself. And if there's one thing we've learned about what Kyler Murray's done, we know he's remarkably athletic. So what has Cliff Kingsbury done? Spread the field. Let's give him space. If he's got to run around and create, by all means. What does he do extremely well? He reads the zone read. If you look at how well they're performing in productivity on a play-by-play basis when they go zone read, it's ridiculous. Among the best in the entire NFL. And they also have surrounded him, like you said, Greeny, with exceptionally good talent that can get it done on their own. Give it to the guys in space and let them eat. Then you've got a weapon in Larry Fitzgerald that's so reliable, so trustworthy. You know exactly where he's going to be, and a Christian Kirk that can create on his own, not to mention DeAndre Hopkins. So everything about Kyler Murray is set up to succeed for the long term. It's his maturity, though, that continues to be just the tiniest bit of a question, but that comes in time. He's still a young player, and hopefully those are things he irons out over the course of his career.
So, Swagoo, let's look in the Marcus Spears crystal ball. Next 3 years, is he the MVP of the league?
Yeah, he'll have an MVP award within the next 3 seasons. Look, he's putting himself on the map right now. And based on how the rest of this season goes, he could be very well in that conversation in the thick of things. But I want to go back to Greg's point. Like, winning the MVP has a lot to do with being put in the right situations. And look, he got a guy that can take the top off of a defense in Christian Kirk. He has a guy that can be a tremendous possession receiver in Fitz. And obviously we know DeAndre Hopkins is one of the top 3 receivers in this league in an offense that is giving him room to operate. Kyler Murray is taking advantage of what's been given to him and the things that are at his disposal. And he has an organization that's saying, hey, go be you. Go do what you do, and we will continue to put people around you that are also elite at their positions to give you the best opportunity to have success and us the best chance to win. And that's what it's going to be for the foreseeable future. And Kyler Murray will be the MVP within the next 3 years.
Totally agree. And look, I'm not in any way, Dan Graziano, comparing Cliff Kingsbury to Andy Reid, who has accomplished so much in the league. But the circumstances with Mahomes feel similar to me. You put the player in the perfect situation to succeed.
I think the key thing, it was a year after they hired Steve Wilkes to coach him and drafted Josh Rosen in the top 10. They didn't decide we're going to change coaches, we're going to change quarterbacks. They decided we're going to change programs. We have the opportunity to draft this guy number 1. We can bring in a coach that can build something around him. We can draft 1 million wide receivers. We are going to be something different because it has a higher ceiling, and so far the early returns are good.
Yes, and give them credit for being willing to admit mistakes. Like a lot of people will not do that. Or we drafted the wrong guy, we hired the wrong coach. They went and they made their move, and so far it has worked huge. Okay, so week 10 in the NFL is now behind us. Let's go through winners and losers. Swagoo, who was the biggest winner in week 10?
It's the Miami Dolphins, G. Listen, we're talking about the guys down there on South Beach, figuring it out. Tua looks good. Chan Gailey doing a tremendous job putting him in a comfortable spot. And Brian Flores and this defense and this team are coming up big, making plays. Emmanuel Ogbah is a name that everybody needs to remember. He's absolutely wrecking games. And that secondary for Miami is making a hard argument to be the best in the league. Miami Dolphins are the winners of week 10. I see them continuing to win.
Graziano, who's your biggest loser this week?
It's the Seattle Seahawks, and this really pains me because you know what a Russell Wilson fan I am, but your defense gave up 23 points, fewest it's given up all year. It held the opposing team to under 400 yards for only the second time all year, and you turned it over 3 times. Come on, man, it's a division game. We were talking about you for MVP. Got to turn it back on.
You threw another interception in the end zone. Jeff Saturday, biggest winner of the weekend.
New York Giants. Listen, give Joe Judge a ton of credit, man. I mean, you lose Barkley for the season. They could have easily thrown the towel in. This team has played hard each and every week. They keep showing up. They beat the Eagles, which puts them in the conversation for the NFC least. Absolutely amazing. They got to be the biggest winner.
Greg, who's the biggest loser?
Well, I'll take opposite Saturday. It's obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. They are now, I think, out of control in the NFC East, which is a real problem to be in. Their offense lacks a significant identity. They were awful on third downs. They couldn't get out of their own way, shooting themselves in the foot with pre-snap penalties.